Okay, you can see once. Okay, we are live now.
Oh, very good. On YouTube, right.
Oh, YouTube is good. It's easy to get. Oh, yeah. It's now streaming live on YouTube.
All right. So,
yes.
Welcome to our sixth one of these e-learning lunches. We had a really amazing presentation last week, and I hope you'll be catching up if you missed any of our sessions on Health Careers TV. This week, we've got an introductory presentation from our colleague, Bodhi. She is from the compliance department. And Bodhi, do you want to unmute yourself and just introduce yourself? And
I am the one presenting. Sorry,
it's David. No, it's me presenting today.
Okay, right. Okay, don't edit that bit out.
Yeah.
Okay, let me start the introduction again. That'll be fun. So, welcome to our sixth e-learning lunch. I hope you've been enjoying the sessions. If you've missed any of them, you can find them on Health Careers TV. We had a wonderful session last week with our presentation about mindfulness and distraction in an online learning environment from our colleague Payal in Sydney. And this week, we're going to have a presentation from our colleague, Dr. Shishir Prasad. So, Dr. Shishir, would you like to introduce yourself and this week's topic for us?
Sure. Thanks, David. So I'm Shishir, and manager for Research and Innovation at SCI. And today, so we're going to cover up the topic on the consequences of contract cheating and why we have to, just have the actions against contract cheating. Well, Swati, so are you able to place the presentation on there?
Yeah,
cool. Okay, so so the slide here shows that today is the International Day of Action Against Contract Cheating. Okay, and so first of all, as we are observing the Day Against Contract Cheating today, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay respect to their elders past and present. And on another note, I, on behalf of SCI and IHM, would like to extend condolences on the untimely demise of Professor Tracy Brittag, a great champion of integrity in education. May her soul rest in peace. Okay, now coming back to the International Day Against Contract Cheating. Well, first of all, it's the International Center for Academic Integrity, ICAI, which has been observing the International Day of Action on 21st of October each year. And it's been running for the last 5 years. This year's International Day of Action Against Contract Cheating. Okay, and as we all know, this COVID-19 has made this year, 2020, a most difficult year in memory for students and educators, right? And taking advantage of such a situation, and also to take advantage of vulnerable students, contract cheating services have been there, and we see a lot of such advertisings, and we are pretty much focusing onto this sort of malpractice. And as the responsible provider, it's our duty to, have a campaign, and we have to join together in the campaign. So I think, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Well, as I briefly talked about, tossed upon this International Council of Academic Integrity, it has set its goals and objectives for the initiative. On the same slide, please. Yes, thank you. And some of the initiatives, some of the objectives which you can read out there, to increase awareness in students, teachers, managers, and administrators in universities, colleges about the threat contract cheating holds to educational standards globally, and also to increase student engagement in helping to plan the International Day Against of Action, participate in social media outreach, and contribute and coordinate to student activities for the day action against, and also to increase interaction and activity around the world through interactive virtual presentations and activities throughout the day, for which ICAI has a day-long program, including the one from Texas at 2 o'clock today. And we are also observing this day as we're doing this one now. Next slide, please. Yeah, now here, okay, the very topic, contract cheating. So what does it mean? Well, I have brought a definition from this Quality Assurance Authority UK here. So the authority QAA has provided with a clear and simple definition of contract cheating, what it is. So it happens when a third party completes work for a student who then submits it to an education provider like us as their own, where such input is not permitted. And it is a serious form of academic dishonesty and breach of academic integrity. Some of the examples we can refer here, and we will discuss further on later, as for example, a student asking a friend to write an assignment, buying an assignment from a website, or what you call as the essay meals, or paying someone to sit an exam. We'll further share and discuss the extent and nature of such malpractice as what we notice in our classes later in our discussion. Next slide, please. Yeah, so as IHM and HCI, a responsible and quality education provider, we adopt the Quality Assurance Authority guiding principles as a framework to consider our academic integrity initiatives and reviewing the existing practices. Thereby, we consider strategic and operational institution-wide approaches to academic integrity are crucial. Such approaches should cover best practice and education for staff and students, reducing opportunities to cheat, deterrence, detection, and effective regulations and policies. We value institutional support and resourcing of staff as the most effective way to identify and investigate academic misconduct. The use of essay meals, for example, organizations' websites that sell essays and answers, the use of essay meals affect us. Assessment design has a significant role in deterrence and detection, but no assessment can design out contract cheating. Then we also are in the belief that working in partnership with students is integral to combating contract cheating. So we follow these principles as set by the Quality Assurance Authority UK. Next slide, please. Yeah. Okay. So when we talk about contract cheating, then where we stand there, IHM, and why we are celebrating, we are observing this day. Well, we have obligation to ensure that the awards we make meet nationally agreed standards. That's the very important point why we are observing this day, why we are against contract cheating or such malpractices. And we know that there are serious concerns about academic standards globally. We've seen recent growth of commercial third parties, essay meals, offering to help students to cheat. Then there is strong evidence to support allegations of contract cheating. And such kind of allegations can be difficult. And in this form, we are introducing Turnitin originality, which is believed to have better capacity in identifying the elements of contract cheating beyond identifying text matching. Australian government has recently, as you know, Australian government has recently introduced law to criminalize provision or advertisement of academic cheating services in higher education. Well, the law is actually not targeted students, as students are subject to our institution's own academic integrity policies, processes, and sanctions. We will talk about this a little later. And of course, there are significant risks to the public if students graduate with an award gained after having used contract cheating services, as those graduates may be practicing within the adequate professional skills. Okay, so there are particular consequences in relation to the courses we offer where there is a real risk that contract cheating can endanger public health and safety, as we offer courses in nursing and of course in other health management. Next slide, please. Yes. Now, okay, as we have discussed so far, the question is why do students tend to indulge in such malpractices? There's so many, factors that may attract students to cheat. For example, poor time management. This is where it's our responsibility, it's our duty to let the students to provide services to the students and how to manage time effectively as such. There are other reasons as well. For example, students feeling under pressure, lack of confidence in writing and analytical skills, and in many cases, having a first language other than English, the non-native English speakers. Feeling generally dissatisfied with teaching and learning environment. We need to be very careful here. Not having good research, attribution, and essay writing skills, which as part of student academic support, it's our duty to provide students who need such kind of support. Feeling unable to seek support from their providers. Yeah, so we should be careful here. Students are not deprived of such support. Lack of engagement with studies. So we should, it's very important, especially on the online environment. So the students, if they are not engaged and if they are not interactive, then that may bring such kind of, things. Then lack of understanding of an assessment's requirements. So students, if they don't understand what are the requirements of the assessments, then those sort of things might cause students indulge in such practices. And if we have any questions or further discussion, so we can make the discussion later. Yeah, shall we go to another slide? Now, as I have referred to once again to Quality Assurance Authority UK's guidelines. Yeah, so this QAA, Quality Authority 1 in UK, has recommended 4 main areas. The first one is education for students, staff. The second one is reducing opportunities to cheat. The third one is detection, and the fourth one is regulation and policies. Now here in this slide, we will see education, information, and support for students. So when we talk about this, so we are to use information and support for students, to place a positive focus on academic integrity. So academic integrity from, just providing students the positive aspect of academic integrity. If they maintain academic integrity, what are the positive sides? So that we should be able to let students know. I think there is some issue there in the slide sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Thanks. And again, to provide support for students that enable them to develop skills in studying, academic writing, the use of academic sources, appropriate paraphrasing, and research. So we should be thinking about how SMEs find their customers and how students find them. That can help us in developing the most appropriate information, right? So shall we go to the next slide? So the next slide is on this education, training, and information for staff. So as the students are to be well informed and trained, the same is with the staff members, right? So in our case, we should support and empower staff so they feel confident in pursuing suspected cases of cheating. And we also need to ensure our staff that they're kept up to date with academic regulations on assessment and their responsibility to uphold academic standards and integrity. And also, we are to make sure that the staff members responsible are aware of the problem of contract cheating and the procedures to be followed when it is suspected. So these are the measures that we can think of. Next slide, please. Okay, the third part is reducing opportunities to cheat. So here, there are five measures we are just referring to. First one is to identifying assessment that makes it more difficult to rely on contract cheating, such as authentic assessment, which is more reflective of the ways in which students will actually use the knowledge along with a mixture of assessment methods where possible. So when we design the assessments, very important that we can come up with the solution to curb such kind of contract cheating and other malpractices. Yeah, let's think about how to reduce contract cheating when designing and reviewing courses and setting assignments. We have to be aware that assessment design alone can only have a limited impact on cheating. So very important factor, designing assessment. Then we are to consider using regular low stakes assessments, and such low stake assessments do not heavily impact students' final grades like summative assessments to develop student confidence as opposed to a single summative high stakes assessments. And we also need to consider blocking SML websites from our equipment or use pop-ups to guide students to support if they click on a particular link. And we should also be alert to advertising methods like posters, flyers, social media. Take steps to minimize account to them when detected. So this could be some of the measures that, and we, of course, we are having those measures, and those measures are in place as a part of reducing opportunities to cheat. So the next one is about detection of contract cheating. So very important point here, the single most important step that we can make in ensuring appropriate resource and support to provide to staff is with academic integrity responsibilities. So we should have the staff members, responsible, dedicated for that particular one. And we also need to develop organization-wide detection methods, bringing together the best elements in our own context. So we are discussing a little bit about our policies, procedures, other instruments later. And we also are to consider tools to complement text match software. So we are using Turnitin in here, including the new generation tools designed to assist in detection of contract cheating. For example, software that uses linguistic analysis to learn a student's typical writing style. And as we are introducing this Turnitin originality, we expect that this would serve this purpose. And we are to get to know our students' styles and capabilities. And we need to be allowed to unexpected changes in a student's assessment performance. So this is the part of detection. Now, the next slide shows the regulation and policies as what kind of regulations and policies we have. Of course, in IHM, we have academic integrity policy and procedure. We have student misconduct policy and procedure. So we have to, so everyone here in IHM have to understand, have to know the policy, the process, the system we have. So it will be easy for us, to measure the efforts in curbing such malpractices. Yeah. Again, okay, it's thanks. So we have to make sure that we embed academic integrity into institutional values and our mission statement. Then we should also ensure that our staff are resourced and supported to address any kind of suspicious academic misconduct, and dedicating a designated strategic lead or staffing resource to the protection of the academic integrity. Also to use designated and specifically trained single decision makers where appropriate. Also to make policies and guidelines clear and accessible, available in a range of formats. So here we should have an explicit procedure to follow to report a suspicion of academic misconduct, determining who to report to and how to report to. And also, so these are the important things that we have to take, consider in our policies and procedures. Of course, we have our policies there in place. And also we need to keep records and collect data for such cheating cases in sufficient detail to allow effective analysis and feed analysis back to reporting academic staff. So as part of continuous improvement there, we have to make sure that the policies, procedures, processes we have in place are current, accurate, reliable, okay? So shall we go to the next one, please? Yeah, so here, this is the end of the presentation here. Here is the reference list. And I would like, when you have time, please enjoy reading those stuffs there, available on the TEXA website, and also there, as I mentioned, this QAA1, plus our own institutional policies, procedures, and documents. And let's discuss further as our practice, how we are going ahead. Yeah, so shall we open the floor? David, yeah?
Yes, certainly, absolutely. So firstly, I'd like to acknowledge that Dr. Prasad was one of the first people to support the initiative for implementing the Turnitin Originality software when I put that proposal forward. So thank you very much. And I think that's a really I think that's a really excellent sort of first step in terms of getting serious and cracking down on these originality issues. We can do a certain amount manually, but investigating is very, very time consuming. Not everybody necessarily has the skills to do it and things like that. Have we got any staff members who have come across originality issues in papers they've been grading, firstly? Yes. Has anyone got an actual direct experience of this among the people who are here?
I think lately has been increasing the cases of picking up, and probably it is because we are becoming slightly more proficient in using Turnitin as well. But it's still, there's the case of, well, is my word against the student's word in the end of the day? In some cases, because I think there was a comment about identifying the students' writing style.
Yeah.
It to me is quite clear to see some of my students' writing style, and then the paper that they present, and then when I ask them to resubmit, so then it comes back to their writing style. But I think my biggest question is what to do though when it is that you know that the person is writing not the way that they speak, and most likely it isn't their work, but you can't really catch much of it, especially because most of people, I don't know why, but even when you go into the document information, most of them have 0 time of editing, 0 minutes of editing time.
That's one of the things that the software will flag as a red flag. You can look that up manually and see that they've got 0 editing time. But if they have 0 editing time, it means that the document was pasted into from somewhere else, basically. So that's not in itself proof that they did the wrong thing, but it's one of the various factors that you'll say. A part of the process is confronting the student and interviewing them about their work. So if you put it to them, why did you not submit the same document that you wrote in? Why did you actually have 0 editing time and obviously paste your text into a new document before you submitted it? This is a fair question to put to them. If they don't have a good reason for that, then they'll feel very uncomfortable. Then there are other questions you can ask them, like, here's some of your previous work, and here's the later work. And you can ask them about their understanding of the topic. If they don't have any clue about what they've written, then, you know, obviously they're in trouble. And all of that adds up point by point to be a strong case, rather than any of these things individually being proof. That's all. But